today because we are joined by the ones, the only Robb, Pepp, and Tonzi Macaroni.
Yes, get it. What a fabulous introduction.
Or should I say your real name, Antonia Arcabasio?
Yeah, that's it.
Not bad, right?
That's a very Italian name. It rolls right off the tongue.
It rolls right off the tongue. Well, listen, thank you for crossing the bridge. Thank you for coming in from Staten Island. We have had, first of all, you guys are co-hosts, I should say, of the Straightened Out podcast with Jenn Graziano.
Yes.
We've had Jenn on here. We've had Renee on here like 3 or 4 times, Karen Gravano. But today is the big time because we have the two of you.
We're the up-and-comers.
You are the up.
We're following in the footsteps.
You are following. So you guys are both, let's just talk about you for a minute. So you guys are both from Staten Island, originally?
I'm from Brooklyn.
We're both
we're both from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And you live
How
in
old
Staten
were you
Island.
moved to Staten Island?
I was young. I was like 5.
I moved to Staten Island in the 8th grade.
Wow.
So I was kind of like a teenager. So I always say I went from hanging out on the front, hanging out on the stoop, to hanging out in the backyard because no one in Staten Island, when I moved to Staten Island, hung out on the block. They all hung out in the backyards.
Yeah.
And growing up in Brooklyn, we don't, a lot of
Stoop
Brooklyn.
kids.
Yeah, we're stoop kids. We don't have backyards.
But it's so funny because if you talk to people that are from Staten Island like us, we'll never let you believe that we were from Staten Island. We'll always tell we were from Brooklyn. We're from Brooklyn. Don't get it twisted. We're from Brooklyn.
Do you guys both live at home now?
No.
No.
See, this is just there's a stereotype of not in a bad way of Staten Island, that everyone is just still in their parents' house.
No.
Maybe I just made that stereotype up.
No, you're 100% right.
Well, see, me, I reverse now. So now my mom lives with me.
That is different, though.
Yeah,
That
no,
is
it's a different. My mom's young, so it's kind of like we're roommates and BFF rather than mother and son.
Do you guys? So, how did you get involved in the Straightened Out podcast with Jenn Graziano? I mean, does everyone in Staten Island just know each other? Did you know Jenn? Or did she just kind of recruit you guys?
I think you need to answer that question.
So I knew Jenn. We met through mutual friends. Jenn actually hated me when she first met me. It's the funniest story ever. She couldn't stand me. She told me I was louder than Renee. Which, I might be on some days. I might be.
You might.
So after that, I introduced Robb to Jenn. We all went out one night on Cinco de Mayo, and it was, what a night it was.
Chaos.
Okay, it was chaos. Chaos really ensued, and Robb was like, wow, Jenn really is about that life. It was
living up to what I had heard about her.
Literally, it was a mob-style smackdown.
Oh, there's stuff happened.
No, it was insane. There was a fight, a knockout. We had to flee the scene. No, it was craziness. But from there, we all kind of just stayed friends. I was always closer to Jenn than Robb, but when the whole mob wife aesthetic kind of came out on TikTok and everyone was doing that, Robb came up with this idea to do a rewatch, kind of like the way Bethany does rewives and stuff like that. He was like, we should do this with mob wives. So
yeah, but we're leaving out the part where I wanted Jenn to do that on her own because this was before I was in social media. I never wanted to be out there. I didn't want no one to know me. So I came up with this idea probably a year and a half ago. Mm-hmm. And then this year, 2024, Antonia's you need to get on fucking TikTok already. What are you doing? You're wasting away. You're such a crazy human being. Go on. And I'm like, nah, I can't do it. But then one day, this bitch pissed me off. I picked up the phone, and the rest is history.
You just blew up on TikTok right away.
Yeah. So I think that my video went viral March 3rd. And I think March 9th, Jenn had the cameras out rolling. She didn't waste no time. She said, all right, you want to do the podcast now? We're doing it now. So everything has happened overnight.
literally.
Wow. Did you guys have, you didn't have a hard time? Because, before this, I love Mob Wives. I think it's one of the best shows that ever existed. But, Jenn wasn't around, talking about it. She was always behind the camera. You guys didn't have to convince her to do
No, we had to, though, kind of. Jenn told me, she was like, listen, I'm not doing this, without the two of you. Because as you can tell, Jenn didn't like to be in front of the camera. She doesn't like to be in front of the camera. Still to this day, she doesn't like being in front of the camera.
Yeah,
but I told her, I'm like, it's never going to work without you. You're Oz. You're the key to Emerald City. Everyone needs to hear what you have to say. You were there. Who are we, really? We're just the viewers with the same questions that everyone else has.
I'm the super fan.
Exactly. And
I can recite lines from Mob Wives. Don't forget, the show came out when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I can recite lines, tell you outfits, what happened, when, where. My Mob Wives knowledge is there because I feel like growing up on Staten Island, that show, is synonymous with the island, and it kind of like shaped me. Like now, like I fight like a mob wife.
So you were like and you didn't watch it.
I watched it, but I'm not like a super fan like he is. But Jen was like, I need the two of you. Like, you both are the young blood. We need to bring in this young energy and so that's really how it started.
I watched it and I loved it, but I have no memory. Like, it's not even,
right.
I just don't remember anything. Like, we do a lot of Housewives here behind the Velvet Rope. I mean, I'm like, I don't know.
Listen,
that was
don't even test my housewife knowledge.
Well, we're going to get into that because Jen has warned me that you are.
Don't even get into it. You know what it is? I feel like it's not knowledge. It's more like opinion. And now, like, knowing how things work and this whole new wave of, like, these girls that studied it and they come on, it's very easy to dissect it and see right through it.
It is very easy. Oh, I have a lot of housewife questions.
I can't wait.
Oh, we love Housewives.
Did you guys know on Staten Island, like you met Jen and all this, but like you didn't know like Renee and Drita, like you didn't know that actually because you were younger.
No, we were kids.
Yeah, we didn't know them like then. As I grew up, I went to the gym and like I met Carla, and then like Carla's one of my very dear friends. We hang out like all the time. I go to Florida and see her, like everything like that. But as far as like knowing them in the moment, no, they were so much older than us.
I feel Mob Wives, I've said it on here before, I think it's one of the best reality shows that has ever existed. And I don't just say that. Like, why do you guys think so? Like, why do you grew up loving it? Besides, like, obviously you're from Staten Island and you saw yourself on there as a future Mob Wife.
I feel like you had Jersey and then you had Mob Wives. And I feel like Mob Wives changed reality TV in the way that, like, before Mob Wives, the fighting aspect, you had Bear Girls Club. But, like, Bear Girls Club wasn't as, I would say, commercial. Is that the word? Like, it wasn't as commercial as Mob Wives. When did you ever put on VH1, MTV, Bravo, and see women go at each other that way? You had the table flip, but then you had the rumble on the rooftop. And to me...
You've said it before. You can say it. I've seen you say it.
I think rumble on the rooftop is more iconic than the table flip. But the table flip is more bigger because the house, Jersey has gone on for so long. And Teresa's become bigger than the show. So, but Mob Wives changed reality TV. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah, it was craziness. It was like you never saw that like real, and all these women had these relationships like prior to the show. So it's like that type of emotion when you're fighting with someone. It's like you're fighting with someone with years of history behind it. You know what I mean? So it's like, it was just so larger than life and crazy. And it's like, you never saw that raw, authentic type of like fighting, I feel like, on reality TV before. And even like when they loved hard because they had that.
And when they hated even harder.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I think it's like, I really have the same two things written down. Like, I think that it's a group of people where, whether they spoke every day, there really was like years-long history.
Everyone was really friends. Karen and Renee grew up together.
Right? Yeah.
Drita and Renee and Jen, they all grew up together.
Yeah.
Everyone was connected. And then you brought Big Ange into it. You brought Ramona